welcome. Welcome to Cami's virtual yoga studio. Today's class is a level 3 vinyasa flow. This is the first advanced flow that I'm doing in the YouTube channel, so I hope you enjoy. The advanced flows will go a little more fast-paced than the all-level classes. We'll work into maybe deeper poses, more arm balances, and mostly just a little more fast-paced. So if at any point you feel like taking a break, please go ahead and do so. Today we're going to go through some arm balances and some just fun poses. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. We're going to start in Sukhasana. And just letting ourselves fall into our breath. Clearing our mind for our class today. Letting our attention fall into this place and time. Leaving our worries behind us, our stress ahead of us. And let the anchor of the breath let us settle into the space. Keeping your eyes closed, deepening the breath. On the next inhale, lift your arms all the way around and up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, around and down next to your side. Continue like that at your own pace, inhaling up. On the exhale, down. And remembering that even in these advanced poses, what makes it a really advanced class is to stay with our breath. Last one, and we'll hold the arms up towards the ceiling, and on the exhale, twist over towards the right, grabbing the right knee with the left hand, maybe looking over our shoulder. And back through center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left. Looking over the left shoulder, keeping the spine long. Sits bones are grounding. And back through center. Undoing our Sukhasana, placing both feet on the ground, hip width apart, arms forward. And we're going to lower one vertebrae at a time all the way down till our back is on the mat. Slowly feeling the scooping of the belly button and release onto the mat. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest, pulling the knee in, feet flexed, looking up towards the ceiling, legs are active. Lengthening both arms forward. Lifting the chest, the heart up towards the ceiling. Lifting the left leg up off to hover over the ground. On the inhale, on the exhale, switch legs, bringing the left leg towards the chest, lengthening the right. Continue. 8 more. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Try not to over-tense the sides of the neck. The lift of the chest is more up rather than forward. Continue. Four more. Last one. Grabbing the left knee into the chest. Release the right leg back onto the ground, hugging the left leg in. Again, both legs are active, all toes are facing up. And now hugging the right knee into the chest. Lengthening both arms forward. We're going to take our knees over our hips, so sort of like if we were in a tabletop position with our legs. And we're going to lengthen, we're going to lift the chest off of the mat, lengthening the arms forward. Palms of the hands facing up. And we're just going to do little pulses with our arms, keeping the shoulders off the ground, knees over the hips. Continue. Remember the chest lifts up rather than forward. And hug it back in. And massaging the low back from side to side, back and forth. And we're going to come directly into Navasana. Boat pose. Arms long, sitting into our sits bones, crown of the head lengthens. Feel free to stay here, or maybe lengthen one leg, maybe the other. Hold here 3 more breaths. If you're only lengthening one leg, switch sides now. And slowly placing the feet back onto the mat, hands behind you. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Reverse tabletop, pushing the hands away from the mat, lifting the hips. Either looking forward or up, whatever feels best for the neck. Hold. And release down onto the mat, placing the sits bones onto the mat, lengthening the legs forward, coming into Dandasana, feet are flexed. Inhale, arms up, and hinge over, reaching for the feet with both hands. If you're rounding the upper back, find length through the crown of the head. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold a little deeper. And on the next inhale, lengthen through the spine, placing the hands behind you. Feet are going to reach towards the mat. Legs are long, and we're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Hands either facing towards the feet or out to the side. Imagine you had a block between your thighs. The big toes are trying to press against the mat. Lift, lift, lift. 2 more breaths. And release once again back onto the mat. Crossing the feet, placing the hands in front of you, tabletop position. Coming through some rounds of cat-cows. Stretching the abs that we just engaged. Doing whatever feels nice here to warm up the spine. And on the next one, we'll come back through neutral, coming into plank pose, lengthening one leg back, the other, pushing the hands away from the mat, rounding the upper back, lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. Hold here. Crown of the head reaches forward as the heels reach back. So lengthening through the body. 1 more breath, and on the exhale, shift the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Finding a steady down dog. On the inhale, come back through plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. 2 more just like that. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Last one. Plank. On the exhale, lower halfway, elbows tucked in, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, strong legs, downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, lift the right leg up. Keeping both feet facing down, bringing the right knee towards the left elbow. Lifting the leg, not letting it drop, not letting the hips drop, and lengthen back. Right knee towards the nose, rounding that upper back, lift, 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 and lengthen back. Right knee towards the right elbow, push the floor away, open the hip as you lift that knee up towards the armpit. And lengthen back. Taking the right leg into a figure 4 with the left. So the right ankle comes over the left thigh. Pushing the hips back. Opening that right hip. And lengthen the right leg up, opening the hip, bending the knee. Taking the right knee towards the right elbow once again. Opening the hip, pushing the floor away from you. Place a foot outside of the right hand into lizard pose. Lowering the back knee onto the mat, the back of the foot. Letting the right hip open, coming onto the forearms if it's available. Holding here for a couple breaths. I'm going to work on opening those hips. Releasing any tension that we might hold in our hips. Placing your hands back down. Lifting the chest. Placing the back toes onto the mat. Lifting the back knee. We're going to reach the right arm forward and behind. Opening the heart up towards the ceiling. Keeping both hips squared. And come back through center, wiggling the right foot between both hands. Step it back, plank pose, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Other side. Lifting the left leg up, keeping the hips squared. Reaching the left leg, the left knee towards the right elbow. Crossing it over, pushing the floor away from you, not letting the hips drop and lengthen back. Left knee towards the nose, rounding that back, push, 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 and lengthen. Reaching the left knee towards the left elbow, opening the hip, knee towards the armpit, not letting the hips drop, and lengthen back. This time bringing the ankle over the right leg, coming into a downward dog, figure 4 sort of shape. Maybe bending that right leg so you can go a little deeper, opening that left hip. And release, lengthening the left leg up, opening the hip, bending the knee, reaching the left heel towards the left glute. And come back, reaching the left knee towards the left armpit. Open the hip and place the foot outside of the left hand. Lowering onto the right knee, placing the back of the foot, letting the left leg open, and coming onto your forearms. Releasing, trying not to resist the hips weighing down onto the mat as they begin to release. And placing the hands back onto the mat. Placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee, reaching the left arm over and behind you, opening the heart. Coming back through center, wiggling the left foot between your hands. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, place the hands next to the feet, step the left foot back. Lowering the back knee onto the mat, back of the foot, lengthening the right leg, coming into a half split. Making sure the left hip is over the left knee, right hip is pulling back, and we flex the right foot, lengthening the back of the right leg a little deeper. Chest reaches forward. And bending the front leg, shifting the hips forward, coming into low lunge. Arms long along our ears. Inhale. And on the exhale, lower the hands back down. Placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee. Step back, plank pose, go through your vinyasa. Lengthening the left leg up towards the ceiling, opening the hip, bending the knee. Optional to stay here or take Wild Thing, shifting the shoulder over the right wrist, opening the heart, flipping the dog. Coming back from where you came from, placing the left hand down, lengthening the left leg up towards the ceiling, placing the left foot outside of the left hand for lizard. Once again, lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, lowering onto your forearms. This time, don't let the hip open. Place the whole foot onto the ground and press the thigh against the torso, towards the side of the torso. Heart lifts and lengthens towards the front of the mat. And plant both hands onto the mat inside of the left foot. Lengthening the left foot, coming into this funky half split on the left side. Breathe, reaching the heart forward. And once again, bend the left leg, place the back foot onto the mat, lift the back knee, keep the hips in center, walking both hands towards the right corner of the mat, reaching the left hand farther, long torso, and walk the hands back in, wiggling the foot between your hands. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over. Coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. We'll continue on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. On the exhale, step the right foot back this time. Placing the back knee down, the back of the foot, and lengthen the left leg. Reaching the heart forward, pushing through the heel, opening the back of the left leg. Left hip crease pulls back, keeping both hips squared. Breathe. And bend the left leg, shifting the hips forward, low lunge. Both arms come long along the ears. Both of those frontal hip bones are facing forward and up. Belly button in and up. And on the exhale, plant the hands back onto the mat, placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee, step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling, opening the hip, bending the knee. Optional Wild Thing, shifting the shoulder over the wrist, reaching the right arm overhead, opening the chest. Breathe. And coming back through where you came from, planting the right hand back down. Lengthen the right leg up, bringing the right knee towards the right elbow as you plant the foot outside of the right hand. Lowering the back knee down, the back of the foot, lowering onto your forearms. Again, for this version of lizard, make sure the whole foot is planted and the thigh is close in towards the side of the torso. That might mean that you might not go that low, and that's fine. You might stay in your hands. Breathe here. And place your hands back onto the mat, lengthening the right leg, coming into this funky side split. As you flex the foot, reach the heart forward. Breathe. Keep trying to keep the hips square. And bend the front leg, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee, keeping the grounding stable, keeping the hips stable, walking both hands towards the left corner of the mat, lengthening the torso towards the side. And coming back through center, wiggling the foot between both hands, stepping the left foot to meet the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Coming up all the way. Samastihiti, hands in front of the heart. Coming through 3 Surya Namaskar A's. 1 breath per movement. Feel free to do it at your own pace. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or hop back. Plank or chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 5 full rounds of breath in your down dog. Returning to that breath that we first set. Remembering what yoga is all about. And on the next exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Hips remain over the heels. Inhale, lengthen this heart. Exhale, hop or step back through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Pushing the hands away from the mat, lengthening through the sits bones in your down dog. The ribs are tying in, keeping a neutral torso. And bend your knees, look forward, hop as lightly as possible towards your hands. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float back through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. On the next exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Floating through your Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Lowering your sits bones, feet together. Knees shifting back. Torso lifts off of the thighs. Hold here 3 more breaths. On the next exhale, fold over the thighs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, reaching the right knee in towards the nose, placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible, warrior 1. Reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. On the exhale, lower the hands. Step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Other side. Left knee into the nose. Placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible. Lowering the back heel, warrior 1. Inhale. Exhale, release down. Step it back through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Taking 5 breaths here. And bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Take a deep breath and lengthen the legs, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Floating back, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Float back. Either skipping your chaturangas if you've had enough. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible, coming into runner, into crescent lunge. Taking a deep breath in here, bending both legs, finding both hips are in the same height, facing forward. Lowering your hands towards the mat, runner's lunge. You're going to shift the weight towards the front foot, coming into standing splits. Lifting the back leg, making sure the back leg is facing forward. Hips are squared. Maybe walking your hands closer into the standing foot. And slowly placing the back foot down for warrior one. Lifting the torso, warrior one. Inhale. On the exhale, lengthen the front leg. Bring the back foot a little closer for pyramid. Both feet are facing forward, almost as if you were getting a really long step. So both hips are squared, hands in the low back, and fold over the right leg. Reaching the right hip back, lengthening through the crown of the head, heart reaches towards the leg. And on the inhale, hands at the hips, long spine all the way up to standing. Opening the back foot perpendicular to the front. So for Trikonasana, triangle pose, opening the arms along the legs, either heel to heel or heel to arch. Shifting the weight forward, long, long spine, reaching the right hand down, left arm up as you open the chest towards the left side. Breathe. Opening the chest and come all the way back up, bringing the right foot parallel to the left, coming to a wide angle pose. So I'll do it this way. Shift to look at you guys. Interlacing your hands behind you, opening the chest, opening the heart, fold forward. Letting the hands hang overhead. If you're very tight in your shoulders, you might want to grab a belt or a strap to separate your hands a little. And for some who are very tight, even that, you might not separate your arms much from your back. But wherever you are is fine. And inhale, coming all the way back up. Releasing your hands, opening the right foot, coming into Skandasana on the right leg, shifting your hips towards the right, lifting the left toes up towards the ceiling, right arm inside of the right leg, left arm up. Trying to reach the heel towards the mat. The left quads are lifting. If you tend to hyperextend, this is a pose where you might hyperextend if you're not engaging the quads. Opening the heart and placing the left hand back down. We're going to walk our hands towards the front of the mat, coming into a runner's lunge on the left side, step back, plank pose. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Other side. Bringing the left foot in towards the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Lifting the torso up towards the ceiling, runner's lunge. Bending both legs, making sure the hips are facing forward. The right hip is at the same height as the left. Arms are long. And release, placing hands next to the left foot. Shifting the weight towards the left foot, reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe you have to bend the standing leg. If you don't have blocks, that's fine. But try to lengthen the flying leg. Maybe walking your hands to grab the heel. Maybe one hand grabs the back of the left leg, and maybe both. And slowly coming back from where you came from, placing the back heel down, warrior one. Lifting the torso up. Bending that front leg, torso's facing forward. Right hip is trying to look forward. And lengthen the front leg. Bring the back leg a little closer. Almost as if you were giving a long step. Reaching through the heart, lowering the torso over the left leg. Reaching both hands onto the mat. Or blocks if you have any. Left hip crease reaches back. And coming back all the way up through center, opening the left foot, opening the legs along the mat. So now your hip is opening, the torso is facing the side of the mat. Trikonasana, lengthening the torso towards the front of the mat. Lengthen, lengthen, and when you can't reach any further, lower the left hand down, right arm up. Trying to lengthen the upper side of the torso as much as you can. Crown of the head reaches forward. And come all the way back up through center. Closing the left foot, wide angle pose. Both feet are parallel. Hands in the low back, lengthening through the spine, fold forward. Reaching for both ankles with both hands to pull the torso a little closer towards the legs. Crown of the head, lengthen, sits bones, reach up. And as you came down, hands in the hips, long spine all the way up. So I just realized I said the wrong leg on the other side. We're going to come into Skandasana on the right side, on the right leg. So bending the right leg, lengthening the left leg. If you did the same side on the other side, switch sides. Lengthening the torso, reaching up, looking over towards the left hand. And lowering the left hand down, walking your hands towards the front of the mat, runner's lunge, step back, plank pose, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. From down dog, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. So I hope we've already started to build heat. Let's get to some more fun poses. Inhale, reach the arms up. On the exhale, fold forward over your thighs. Maybe separating your feet a little wider to hip width. We're going to bend the knees, coming into Malasana Yogi Squat. Hands in front of the heart. If today arm balances are not for you, stay here. If not, come through crow. We're going to meet in down dog. So feel free, if you're doing crow, to play with your jump back. So I'll guide you through crow, placing your hands shoulder width apart. Chaturanga arms, feet close together, hips up, bending the elbows back, chaturanga arms, knees into the armpits, shifting the weight forward, lifting maybe one foot then the other. Now if you're playing through your jump back, shoot back through chaturanga, upward facing dog, and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, reach your right foot between your hands, rolling the back heel down, warrior two. Arms along your legs, bending the front leg. This is one of the longest stances we have. Bringing the right leg almost parallel to the front of the mat and lengthen the front leg. Bringing the back foot a little closer. I'm shifting back because we're going to come into half moon and I need a little bit more space. So lengthen the torso forward, coming into Trikonasana, half moon. Opening the chest towards the left side. opening. And now shifting the weight towards the front foot, looking forward, shifting the gaze towards the front of the mat, placing your hands around 6 inches out of the right pinky. Feel free to stay here or take Chapasana, grabbing the back foot, pressing the back foot along against the left leg, opening the left leg, and releasing down, coming from where you came from, half moon. Slowly bending the front leg, warrior two. Windmilling your hands back down. Stepping back, plank pose, chaturanga. Feel free to skip them. It's been a lot of chaturangas today. Bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, rolling the back heel down. Warrior two on the left side. Shoulders over the hips. Left knee is always in the same direction as the middle toe. It's never piking it, like cycling in or out. Long arms. And lengthen the front leg, bringing the back leg a little closer. So around 1 meter distance or so between legs. Arms along the legs, shifting the weight, shifting the torso forward. Today's not my day with words. Opening the chest towards the right side of the mat. Feeling as the whole torso is rotating towards the side. Now shifting the weight towards the left foot, gazing over the front of the mat, placing the left hand onto the mat. Half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. Find length through the crown of the head. If you took Chapasana on the other side, feel free to do so on this side as well. Slowly from where you came from, lengthening the back leg. Ardha Chandrasana, bending the standing leg, half moon. Windmill your hands down. Plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lengthening the right leg up towards the ceiling. Now listen carefully, you're going to have a couple options. We're all going to bring our knee towards the nose and press back. Knee towards the right armpit. Now feel free to stay here or begin to bend those arms into chaturanga. Placing the right thigh over the right arm. You can play with lengthening the right leg and maybe even lifting the back leg. And if you have the jump back, step the right foot back, plank pose. Upward facing dog will all meet in downward facing dog. Feel free to pause the video and do it step by step. We'll do this. We'll continue. Right leg up, bringing the knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Coming into warrior two. Back heel drops, opening up warrior two on the right side. Reverse the warrior, walking the left hand along the left leg, reaching the right arm back, and come back through center. Reaching the right arm forward. We're going to lower, coming into Ardha Chandrasana. Lowering the right hand onto the mat. Shifting the weight towards the right foot, half moon. Now, feel free to pause it, take it step by step. We're going to do a funky transition. Slowly, we're going to lower the left foot back down. Coming into Skandasana, bending the left leg, lengthening the right. Reaching the right arm up, right foot is facing up. Trying to press the left heel into the ground. If it doesn't reach, it's fine. Take a breath. And walk your hands back towards the front of the mat, runner's lunge. Step it back, plank pose, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Almost. Other side. Reaching the left foot up. Bringing the left knee into the nose. And lengthen back. Reaching the left knee towards that left armpit. Feel free to stay here. Feel free to bend the elbows. Maybe begin to lengthen the left leg. I don't have enough space. The left leg forward. Maybe lift the back leg if it's available. And maybe shoot the left foot back. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Remember to take it step by step and follow what your body is telling you. Reaching the left foot up, bringing the knee into the nose, place the foot between your hands, warrior two on the left side. Arms long, reverse the warrior, walking the right hand along the right leg, reaching the left arm back, coming back through center, warrior two. So we're going to come through these sort of quick-paced transitions. Feel free to pause it and take it at your own pace. We're going to shift the weight towards the left foot, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Back foot is flexed, flying leg is strong. Maybe the standing leg is a little bent. From here, prepare for the transition into Skandasana, lifting the torso, placing the right foot down, shifting towards the right side, Skandasana, opening the chest, lifting the heart, and slowly lower the hands down onto the mat. Walk the hands towards the front of the mat, runner's lunge, step it back, plank pose, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, child's pose. Take a breath. Take a second to check in with yourself, to see what's going on. Breathe. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, shift forward. Plank pose, coming into side plank on the right side, shifting towards the edge of the right foot. Left arm up, either stacking the feet or one foot in front of the other. Hips shift up. Feel free to do any variation that feels right. Maybe tree pose, tree legs. Maybe reaching for the toe. Whatever version you're doing, hips reach up. And slowly from where you came from, come back through plank. Other side, shift the weight towards the left hand, coming onto the edge of the left foot. Whatever version you took on this side, you'll take on the other side, you'll take on this side. Either reaching the hips up, and slowly, wherever you are, coming slowly from where you came from, plank pose, all the way belly down onto the mat. Feels nice. Interlacing your hands behind you, rolling the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the heart, pressing the feet against the mat. Open the heart, crown of the head lengthens forward. Breathe and lower. The next two, we're gonna lift everything off of the mat. Inhale, lift up, reaching the hands back, lifting the legs. Imagine you had a block between your thighs. And release down. Last one. Inhale. Reach the heart up, lift. Shalambhasana. Crown of the head lengthens, the neck is long, and release down. Anurasana, bringing the heels in towards the butt, grabbing the sides of the feet, rolling the shoulders back. We're going to press the feet against the hands, lifting the heart. Imagine you had a block so your legs can't go wider than your hips. Pushing through the heels, rolling the shoulders back, crown of the head lengthens. Breathe. And release down. Placing the side of your head onto the mat. Windshield wiper with your shin side to side. Releasing any tension that you could have created in the low back. Switching sides. And pushing yourself back, child's pose. Pressing the glutes towards the heels. And placing your hands against the mat. Last 2 down dogs. Almost. Bringing the right shin towards the front of the mat, pigeon pose. Lengthening the left leg back, making sure both hip bones are facing forward. Maybe wiggling the right foot to bring the shin as parallel to the front of the mat as possible without splurging the hips out towards the sides. And surrender. Placing your forehead onto the mat or your hands. And slowly placing your hands back onto the mat, lifting the torso up. You're going to swing the left leg forward, coming into Janu Shirshasana. Right foot inside of the left leg, shifting the torso towards the left leg, fold over the left leg. Crown of the head lengthens, heart reaches towards the leg. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower a little deeper. If you reach for the foot, maybe you can grab the wrist if it's available. Back up. Grabbing the left toe with the two peace fingers. If you don't reach for the toe, that's fine. Grab wherever you can on the shin. Opening the chest up towards the ceiling. It's not as important to grab the foot with the right hand if it's going to close the chest. So if you can keep the chest open, then reach for the foot without compensating the twist. And come all the way back up, crossing the legs, placing the hands in front of you. Step or hop back. Down dog. Other side. Left shin reaches towards the front of the mat. Right leg reaches back. Maybe wiggling the foot to come a little more parallel to the mat. Both hip bones facing forward, and surrender over. Releasing onto the mat. And pushing yourself back up, swinging the right leg forward, Janu Shirshasana. Lengthening the torso towards the right leg, folding over, reaching towards the foot, lengthening through the crown of the head. And coming all the way back up. This time opening the chest towards the side, reaching for the right toe, opening the chest up towards the ceiling as you reach the left arm next to your ear and overhead. Almost as if your whole torso wanted to look up towards the ceiling. And coming all the way back up. Now, feel free to take a second if inversions are in your practice to do so. I'm just gonna put my legs up the wall as my inversion for today. You have around a minute, kind of do whatever feels right for you now, whatever you want to add to your practice for today. For me, just reversing the blood flow. So rewarding and brings an easiness to the whole body. And it doesn't have to be any fancy pose. It can just be placing your legs up the wall. And if you have a block, maybe lifting your hips up onto a block. And when you're done with your inversions, you can just meet us in your mat facing up with your knees hugged into your chest, giving yourself a big hug, massaging your low back. When everyone's done, we'll all meet on our backs on your mat with knees hugged into the chest. Opening your arms in a T, letting the knees fall towards the right, looking over towards the left. Closing your eyes, finding that quality of Shavasana in these poses as you relax, completely melting onto the ground. Trying to make sure that both shoulders are on the mat. And coming back through center, releasing the knees towards the other side, looking over towards the right. And coming back through center, finding our way into Shavasana as we lengthen the legs forward, arms next to the torso, palms facing up, releasing everything onto the ground, surrendering any control over our muscles, over our breath. And just melting onto our mats. Taking a deep breath back in through the nose. Feeling the prana, that vital energy of the breath, invade every cell in the body. Creating this expansive energy all throughout. Bringing movement into the toes, the fingertips. Maybe making circles with our wrists, our ankles. Bring our knees into our chest and rolling on to a side. Taking our time coming into a fetal position. Taking a second to take it all in. To observe how we're feeling. And to give gratitude towards ourselves, to express gratitude towards ourselves. For showing up. And for everything we were able to do in this class today. Pushing yourself back up through center, coming into a seated position, Sukhasana. Long spine, bringing your hands in front of your heart, bowing down in gratitude. Namaste. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.